Thank goodness finally somebody has said it. Finally, somebody has put it to music. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Randy Newman.
Beautiful.
George Washington was a white man. Adams and Jefferson, too. Abe Lincoln was a white man, probably. And William McKinley, the whitest of them all, shot down by an immigrant in Buffalo.
Oh, hold on.
And the
Just
star.
May I just stop? Not really an immigrant, more of a Marxist revolutionary. I just wanted to throw that in. Not really an immigrant, Marxist revolutionary.
Fell out of heaven.
By the way, it's a little too soon on the McKinley thing to be
I'm sorry, I
thinking about
didn't mean to.
A little too soon.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm dreaming of a white president, just like the ones we've always had.
Can we stop for a second? I believe I could write most Randy Newman songs. In fact, I believe you could write most Randy Newman songs.
Yeah.
It doesn't really.
Doesn't need to rhyme. Doesn't need to make sense.
No.
Doesn't need to sound good.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff I like. I mean, some of his stuff is
Do
really.
you really?
Oh, yeah. Some of his stuff is brilliant.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh, yeah. No.
Like,
seriously.
for instance.
I'm trying to remember the
instance.
name of it. Like she's a lonely girl or something. There's a really seriously.
Oh,
there's
she's a lonely girl. Yeah, that I forgot about that.
No. It's
classic.
or she's a sensitive girl or something.
Lonely at the top?
No, sensitive. She's a sensitive girl.
Sensitive?
Okay,
No.
I mean, his stuff from Toy Story, I guess, is sort of
Real emotional girl?
A real emotional girl.
There you go.
That's a great song. She's a real emotional girl. That's a great song.
Well, how do you feel
What
about
about-
short people?
I actually like short people.
What about
Got no reason to live.
I love
LA?
L.A. I like that. I like that.
We love it.
I think it's fun. I mean,
I think
I
it
like the stuff from
sucks.
Toy Story. I think it's great. Now, this is he's trying to be like short people. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to do something really sarcastic. But doesn't he understand that he's offending most Americans? I mean, this is what I love. We're so racist that we elected him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wait a minute.
But only
What?
because we mistakenly misfocused our malfocused racism.
What?
Yeah. You heard
I
me.
don't.
Well, you know what happened? Here's what really happened. And it's time that this comes out. In 2008, we voted for his white half. It's 2012 now, and we're voting for the other side of it.
Oh,
And now we can't do that.
Thank you.
You
okay.
can't do that. All right. So it's time to.
Do you know what? Do you
Let that
know
out.
his was it
Finally.
his uncle? I think was a very famous writer. You know his uncle. In fact, Pat plays at least once a week his uncle's biggest hit,
Whose uncle biggest hit?
Randy Newman's.
Really?
You play it at least.
I play his uncle's hit at least once a week on the radio. On this show.
It always ends this way. Okay, let me see. Carry the one. Let's do the two, and then
The drum roll?
What follows the drum roll?
The 20th Century Fox thing.
That's
That was his uncle?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to this white president thing, though.
No,
'Cause that's
you're right.
Play
this
this.
is
Play the rest of it.
super classic.
A real live white man who knows the score, how to handle money or start a war.
Oh,
Wouldn't even have to tell me what we were fighting for.
oh, that's
He'd be the right man
If he was
if he were
white man.
everybody.
White man.
White man.
I'm dreaming of a white president, someone whom we can understand,
This is so bad.
Yeah, it really is.
someone who knows where we're coming from, and that the law of the jungle's not the law of this land.
what?
Deepest, darkest Africa, 1903.
Oh.
Little boy says, Daddy, I just discovered relativity. A big eclipse is coming, and I'll prove it. Wait and see. You better eclipse yourself out of here, son. Find yourself a tree.
What?
There's a lion in the front yard, and he knows he won't catch me.
I mean,
How
hang
many
on just a
little
second.
Albert Einstein?
This is how these people think. And when I say these people, these racist leftists, they really live in an America where Little Black Sambo is still a place that we go to for pancakes in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's really where they live.
Haven't changed their belief systems since the 60s.
No, they haven't. They don't think they think we'd all have, Sambos all around which, by the way, was Indian, not African. But that doesn't stop anybody. That's racist. That's against black people. No, it was an Indian story. It's Rudyard Kipling, for the love of Pete. But they really think that that's where we would be. We'd be at Little Black Sambos.
Now, did Sambos become Denny's? Or was that just
I think they were
on the mean streets of Helena, Montana, where our Sambos became Denny's?
No, I think mean streets. Mean streets. You covered your racism. I think they were separate, weren't they?
I don't know.
I didn't mean to wreck this.
Yeah,
this is so
serious.
Signs cut down while in their prime. How many little Ronald Reagans gobbled up before their time? I don't believe in evolution, but it does occur to me. What if little William Howard Taft had to face a lion, or God forbid, climb a tree?
I could see he was fat.
Where would this country be? I'm dreaming.
This is genocide to
Things
music.
have never
It's
been
awful.
this bad. So it won't run 110 seconds flat. So I won't have a pretty jump shot or be an Olympic acrobat.
Now, could he squeeze in any other stereotype here to be
No.
more racist? Is it possible?
Don't know much about global warming. Is that really where you're at?
That's great.
This guy sucks.
Oh,
Won't be the brightest, perhaps.
If you're the
But he'll
whitest.
be the whitest.
Uh-huh.
And I'll vote for that.
He is terrible.
That's just pathetic.
Awful. It's not even creative. It's
No.
just awful.
Oh, yeah.
It's just white people don't like global warming and they like black basketball players.
Evolution, and they can't jump, and
war on women, contraception.
Amazing? When I was introduced the other day on the Dish Network, the Dish Network wanted to do this thing to announce that I was going to be, have the new deal. And so they also made some new deal with Current. And so they had this thing, and I appeared at this thing with Elliot Spitzer, and, that's not what I'm doing, but whatever. It helps the network to go ahead and, promote them. And I have no problem. I actually respect Dish for having us and Current and MSNBC and Fox. And
more voices better than less voices.
It's absolutely right. But here's what, I was standing backstage, and they were talking about the networks. And they talked about how successful our network already is and how successful we have been in television and the book world and everything else. And then they talked about Current. And, of course, they didn't talk about any success. There was no success story there. It was void of success. However,
they've fired more anchors than any other startup network
but
in history.
here is what they did say. And I laughed out loud. I mean, I had a microphone on, and I'm behind the curtain. And I just laughed out loud because it's hysterical. They didn't talk. They talked all about our success. And when it came to Current, they said, and has won every major journalism award in the last 3 years. I just laughed out loud. Of course they have. Of course they have. Yeah. That's all they do. They sit around. This guy is putting this out, and look at, he's part of the elite. And so people will say, "Oh my gosh,
look at that. There's a white man who understands
brilliant.
the plight."
That is brilliant. That is the most brilliant thing.
And you know what makes it even more brilliant is he can't sing a note, and yet he gets in front of a microphone and tries. That makes it even more brilliant.
While we're here on music for a second, you know what really hacks them off? Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan in Rolling Stone magazine, how many times did they try to get him to say that we were racist?
About six.
About
six times. Yeah.
And the last line in this Rolling Stone, they asked him, and he's like, "Would you just like me to read back my quotes to you from the last 6 times?"
Mm-hmm. What are you even talking about?
We're talking about
a guy who was elected by white people last time. is what he told him.
I mean,
it's great stuff.
It's great.
Great
Bob
stuff.
Dylan and I don't agree on politics, I'm sure. I'm sure he voted for Barack Obama. But he wouldn't go down the road. He's like, what are you talking about? And that's driving the left out of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you won't say that somebody is either stupid or racist or a Nazi because they disagree with you, well, they can't have that. You can't have it.